Hey guys, here's a nice quiz question. So 1 minus 2 root 3 squared, what does this quantity equal? And then you have four choices I've made here. Perhaps pause the video and try to figure these out, see how it goes for you. So remember we have 1 minus 2 root 3 and this quantity is squared. So how do we go forward? Well, this thing is the base, and this here is the exponent. So the exponent says multiply the base by itself 2 times. So we begin with that basic fact. So you can write 1 minus 2 root 3, and then 1 minus 2 root 3. I hope you've got that stage done. Okay, great. Now we want to recognize this. How can we multiply this out? Because we have radicals here, and here you might think that this is more complicated because of that. And it is in a certain sense. That's very true. But there's still nevertheless a pattern that applies. We want to use that pattern to our advantage. So I'm going to go 1 times 1. That's going to be f from FOIL. Okay, then I'm going to go 1 and multiply that by that. That's going to be O, the product of the outer ones. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to multiply by this. This is going to be the product of the inner ones. I'm going to take this and multiply by this. This is going to be the product of the last one. So I'm going to use FOIL in other words. FOIL. Alright, it's a really good idea to just learn as few rules as possible, but learn how to use them as well as possible. So 1 times 1 is what is f. Then you're going to do by O, 1 times negative 2 root 3. So it's going to be plus positive 1 times negative 2 root 3. Okay, if it's going too fast, stop. Look at the arrows carefully. Alright, then for the I step, it's going to be negative 2 root 3 multiplying to the 1. I. So it's going to be minus 2 root 3 multiplying to the 1 rather here. Okay. And the last stage is the L that multiplies the negative 2 root 3 with the negative 2 root 3. So it's going to be minus 2 root 3 times another negative 2 root 3. That's FOIL. Alright, so this one should be not here, but like here. So 1 times 1 here, I meant to say is 1. Now this is 1 times negative 2 root 3, so it's going to be minus 2 root 3, right? The negative beats the positive, and you end up with a negative. Then it's going to be negative 2 root 3 times the positive 1. So the negative is going to win again. So you're going to have minus 2 root 3. Then at the end, it's a little bit different. You're going to have negative 2 times negative 2. That's going to give you a positive 4. Okay, now look very carefully. Right here, you have the root of 3. And here you have the root of 3. That's going to give you times the root of 3 quantity squared because it's there 2 times. All right. So it's going to give us 1. Now, this negative 2 and this negative 2 will combine to make a negative 4. But you got to copy the root 3 that doesn't go away. So it's going to be plus 4. Now what happens over here? Well, you're going to have this cancel with this, which means you have plus 4 times positive 3 remaining. So you end up with 1 minus 4 root 3 plus 12. Now notice something. This doesn't have a root and this doesn't have a root, which means these two can be combined into a single term. So we will say 13 minus 4 root 3. At this point, we got to do this. Now, how do we know we should do that? Because this has a root. This here has what? No root. So because it has no root, you cannot combine these two into a cleaner expression. Alright, so if you like these kinds of videos, please be sure to leave a like. That lets me know I'm on track in terms of what you like. Please be sure to subscribe. I do also post videos on other topics, but they're always related to math and science in some fashion.